the very first thing I do when I come home with fruit from the grocery store is leave it out. I never put it in the fridge right away because I want to make sure that I wash it and store it properly. Fruit is a hot item in this house. It does not last very long, and the kids are always anxious to get their hands on it. So I like to make sure that I wash it so that I don't have to put them off for too long, and make sure that it's nice and clean and ready for them to eat. So the very next thing I do is I take out my distilled white vinegar, and for this I use 2 parts water to 1 part vinegar, so just depending on the size bowl you're using, you can determine how much and your quantities for that. Followed by my Young Living Lemon Vitality. You can just use regular lemon juice for this, you don't need essential oil. I like to use it just because it's easy, I have it on hand. And then I use my Thieves essential oil. This is the Young Living Vitality blend, but you can just use regular Thieves for this. And this stuff is just awesome. It's antimicrobial, antibacterial, antiseptic, and it really just does a great job at killing all of the yuck that's on the fruit and making sure it's nice and clean for the kids to eat. So here you can see I'm putting my vinegar into my bowl, and then I'm going to fill it up the rest of the way with water. And then I'm going to put my 2 to 3, I think I did 3 in this video, 3 drops of each of the lemon oil and the Thieves oil. And like I mentioned, you don't have to use the essential oils. I do because I love just knowing that all of the bacteria has been killed and that it really just leaves my fruit even cleaner than when I just used to use plain vinegar. You can also, like I mentioned, add lemon juice to vinegar, and that works just as well. So here I put the blueberries into the bowl, and I'm just picking off any little stems that there were. And as you can see, I have a little helper. She was very anxious. The boys were napping, and so she came up here and helped me wash all of the fruit today, and we had some really good time together. So this is definitely something that you can do with your kids, especially because you're using all natural and toxin-free products, so they're not going to get their little hands dirty. And yeah, so here I finished washing the blueberries, and I just put them into a strainer and I rinsed them all out. And in the meantime, I had her putting the strawberries into the vinegar solution, so she's going to wash those for me while I work on the blueberries. And so here, as you can see, I'm just really getting my hands in on those strawberries to help the vinegar and the essential oils do their job. Strawberries are one of the most heavily pesticided fruits, and so even with buying organic, they still do put something to keep away the critters while they're growing, and I just want to make sure that they're as clean as possible before giving them to the kids. And this is really the star of the show here, how to store your fruit. So what I do is I take a paper towel and I fold it in half, just depending on the size of the container I'm using. I just make sure that it's covering the bottom, and then I just pour my fruit in on top. I find that after washing them, they hold on to a lot of moisture, and this just helps to soak it all up so that they're not sitting in their own water and not getting soggy. And so that's how I store my fruit. And now I just complete the process going through the rest of the fruit. We had some strawberries today, some raspberries, and some grapes as well. And you can already see just after washing the blueberries and strawberries that the water is dirty. Of course, some seeds come off and some, little leaves and other things in the cleaning process that definitely contribute to the way that the water looks. But overall, just by looking at it, you can tell that you are definitely getting a lot of gunk off and definitely getting them nice and clean and ready to eat. So now I'm just getting her started on the grapes. I'm having her pluck them off the stems and put them into the vinegar water. This is a great project for someone her age. She's 3 years old, and she just really takes it very seriously. It's nice and time consuming, and she's pretty meticulous. She did miss a few stems, which you'll see me go back through later, but this way I can move on to other things while she's doing that. And here I'm just storing the strawberries and raspberries the exact same way that I did the blueberries. And again, I just find that this helps soak up any water so that they're not sitting in their own moisture. I found that they just were becoming really soggy before I started doing this. And also to mention that as the fruit, gets low in the container as it's being eaten, I will transfer them to smaller containers as time goes on and replace a new paper towel to continue soaking up any extra moisture. So as you can see here, we've been working on the grapes. Here's a little stem I found that she missed, so I'll just kind of go through and take those out. But she takes this job very seriously. It really is the perfect thing for someone her age to do. And it also just kind of gave us some quality time together while the boys were napping. So this was a lot of fun. So now I'm just giving her hands a good wash with our Thieves foaming hand soap just to kill any bacteria. The grapes today were not organic, so I wanted to make sure that before she moved on to something else, her hands were nice and clean. And here's another shot of that nasty water. You can just see how much came off of all of that fruit. Of course, like I mentioned, there are some, leaves and some seeds and other things that come off, but you can just see by the filth of the water that definitely a lot comes off of it. Now I'm just folding a paper towel to fit the size of this container. Of course, it's bigger than the others to fit all of these grapes. And that is it. That's how I wash and store all of my fruit. Honestly, it makes it last so long. I think the biggest secret really is in the lemon, which definitely has preserving properties, so it just kind of keeps it nice and fresh, followed by the paper towel that just keeps any moisture off the bottom. And like I mentioned before, as the fruit gets low in their containers, I will swap them out for smaller ones, putting a fresh paper towel down first just to continue soaking up any moisture. And that just about wraps this up. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you find this video helpful. If you have any questions, you can just leave them in the comments below or message me on Instagram. And don't forget to get your little ones involved. This is something that they can definitely help with, and I find that they really enjoy. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you next time.